on July 23rd, 2022. It was the 7th annual Pocono 225 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in the 19th race of the 2022 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. It was another race for the Xfinity Series drivers, but for Sage Karam, it was a return to the same track that cost the life of a fellow beloved and respected competitor back in August of 2015. A race for closure, a home track to revisit, and a race to move forward. From tragedy to triumph and closure, this is the story of Sage Karam's Pocono Return. Before we get to July 23rd, 2022, if you are a NASCAR fan that does not watch a lot of racing series that isn't NASCAR and you are wondering who is Sage Karam, well, I'll answer your question. Sage Rennie Karam was born on March 5th, 1995 from Nazareth, Pennsylvania. When Sage was a kid, he was racing go-karts in Oakland Valley Race Park, which is in Quebec, New York. After Sage did some karting, in 2010, Andretti Autosport would hire Sage Karam to race in the USF National Championship Series and would stomp the competition by winning 9 of the 12 races of the season. Finished every race on the podium except the second New Jersey Motorsports Park race and would win the championship. Not only Sage Karam won the championship, but he also won the prize package of $350,000 from the Road to Indy program and Mazda Speed Development Ladder, which allowed him to go to the Star Mazda Championship Series in 2011, which is now the USF Pro 2000 Championship Series. Sage Karam would stay with Andretti Autosport in the series. Sage Karam would win 2 in a row at Milwaukee and Iowa. He would finish 5th in points after scoring 2 wins and 4 podiums. In 2012, Sage Karam would win 3 races at Iowa, the second Troy Rivera's race, and the second Baltimore race. He would finish in the podium 10 times and finish 3rd in points. Despite not winning the championship to start Mazda's Championship Series, Sage Karam would move up to the Indy Light Series in 2013. Racing for Schmidt-Peterson Motorsport, it would win 3 races and 9 podiums and an average finish of 3.1. It would win the 2013 Indy Lights Championship, 11 points ahead of Gavi Chavez. Now, it was time to go to the big leagues. After 2013, Sage Karam was trying to find a ride for the 2014 Verizon IndyCar Series season, but had no such luck due to not enough funding. Luckily for Sage, he became the only high school senior to race in the Indianapolis 500 since he would graduate after the race. Sage Karam would race in the number 22 Comfort Revolution / Bradley Gilbert Chevy Delara for Chip Ganassi Racing and Reinbold Kingdom Racing. Sage would start in 31st and would finish in 9th place, second highest rookie in the race behind Kurt Busch, who finished in 6th place, and Kurt Busch would also win the 2014 Indy 500 Rookie of the Year. The 2014 Indy 500 was the only IndyCar race he ran in 2014. After his outstanding rookie debut at Indianapolis, Sage Karam would finally get an opportunity of a lifetime for the 2015 Verizon IndyCar Series. After the 2014 Indy 500, Sage Karam would finally start his rookie year in IndyCar for Chip Ganassi Racing in the number 8. Sage's rookie season was a struggling season with only a 5th place finish at Fontana and a 3rd place finish at Iowa, which was remembered for his conflicts with Ed Carpenter. Even though Sage Karam had a struggling rookie season despite having a podium and 2 top 5s, Pocono would be a shining bright moment for Sage Karam. The past yellow was for a Fox on track. Sage Karam will lead the field back to green and was looking for his first ever IndyCar race win. Sage led 7 laps. Even the boss man, Chip Ganassi, was optimistic about Sage's race.
Chip Ganassi has moved from Tony's pit stand down to Sage's. Chip, what do you think of this rookie leading his hometown race?
He's doing a great job, obviously. I mean, we need a little bit of yellow to make the finish, but this is our best shot to win the race. We're not interested in finishing 10th. We either want to win or go home.
I heard you guys were gambling on strategy a little bit for Sage just so he could get time out front. How important is that time out front for a rookie?
Anytime you can be out front, anytime you can run with these guys at the front, it's good stick time, it's good learning, and that's what he's doing right now.
All right, Chip, watching his rookie lead the way.
Comfortably so, too. Isn't he doing a nice job?
Sage Karam was running some qualifying laps while leading and needed a yellow. Sage Karam got the yellow, but it wasn't what he needed. Sage Karam was holding on for dear life and tried to save as much fuel as possible, trying to get his first ever IndyCar win. Unfortunately, tragedy would strike.
Oh, he's gone! Karam is gone!
That's a hard hit right there.
All by himself.
Oh,
Oh, in the wall goes Justin Wilson.
man, it's crazy race today.
Crazy
Day
race is
that
right.
started out looking pretty formulaic, routine, everybody in the groove, has not turned out that way at all.
By the time Sage Karam was in the middle of the first corner, he lost it and crashed hard into the outside wall. While the rest of the field missed the scattering debris, Justin Wilson would get hit by Sage Karam's nose cone, knocking him unconsciously immediately, and his car crashed into the inside wall with no control. While Sage climbed out of the car with little to no injuries, especially on his right heel and left wrist, as for Justin Wilson, we would get some unfortunate and tragic news.
Thanks, Doug. On behalf of the Wilson family, it's with profound sadness that we announce that Justin Wilson died this evening at Lehigh Valley Health Network Hospital in Allentown, Pennsylvania, as a result of the head injury that he sustained yesterday at the Pocono Speedway event. He passed away in the company of his family, his brother Stephen, his loving wife, wonderful wife Julia, and his parents, Keith and Lynn. Justin's elite ability to drive a race car was matched by his unwavering kindness, character, and humility, which made him one of the most respected members of the paddock. As we know, the racing industry is one big family, and our focus now is on rallying around Justin's family to ensure that they get the support that they need during this difficult time. Anyone who follows our sport knows Justin is one of the most well-respected, highly regarded, and loved people in the entire paddock. He will be missed. I want to express sincere thanks on behalf of Justin's family and the IndyCar and Andretti Autosport organizations, to the Hamatro safety team, to Doctors Olinger, Stevens, and Trammell, and IndyCar nurse Denise Titus. Also to the staff at the Infield Care Center at Pocono Raceway, and all the skilled and thoughtful professionals at Lehigh Valley Health Network in Allentown. The outpouring of support from the motorsports community, fans, and stakeholders has been amazing. I know the Wilson family is very, very appreciative. In particular, the Wilson family wishes to thank Justin's fellow drivers and their families who've been so thoughtful and kind and supportive.
Justin Wilson, a respected British wheelman and a 7-time IndyCar Series winner, was in a coma after getting hit by Sage Karam's nose cone. Unfortunately, after 28 hours, Justin Wilson would die from severe head injuries and blunt force trauma at the age of 37. After the tragic accident, Sage Karam was devastated and he fell apart. How can a 20-year-old IndyCar rookie handle and deal with such tragedy? It's extremely difficult and challenging to deal with such tragedy for anyone to deal with, regardless of how old you are. Sage was overcome by guilt. No matter how many people told him it was not his fault, Sage Karam could not forgive himself. 5 days after the Pocono crash, Sage Karam told reporters that he was seeking counseling from a psychologist to deal with the emotions he's felt since the accident. For a long time, Sage Karam barely left his room. When he did venture out, he'd sometimes only make it as far as a convenience store. Some fans blamed Sage Karam for Justin's death and was even called a murder, and others urged him to commit suicide. The darkness of his depression didn't fade, but seemed to grow. Deep down, he wondered if perhaps the online trolls were right. Sage Karam will fall into deep depression due to the immense guilt, nearly halting his racing career. Despite dealing with horrible, typical toxic online social media hate and backlash, Sage Karam received a lot of support from the fans, drivers, and even the Wilson family. There were no hard feelings. Stefan knew it was a racing incident. After the death of Justin Wilson, safety was a hot topic. In 2019, IndyCar formed a partnership with Red Bull Advanced Technologies to develop a cockpit protection feature called the Aeroscreen, which is featured at the start of the 2020 NTT IndyCar Series. Just like Formula One installed the Halo, there were some mixed opinions and criticisms about the look of it. While IndyCar got their Aeroscreen, The 3 USF Championship Series and Indy Next installed halos on their cars. The aero screen in IndyCar has been a big success and has saved a lot of drivers ever since. After the 2015 season, Sage Karam did not return to Chip Ganassi, and Max Chilton would be his replacement. Sage Karam was left without a full-time ride. However, he would race in the Indy 500 for Dry and Ryan build from 2016 to 2022. At the 2016 Indy 500, Sage Karam was starting 23rd but would crash out in turn 1 after 93 laps, finishing in 32nd. In the 2017 Indy 500, Sage Karam started in 21st and would be out of the race after running 125 laps due to battery issues, finishing in 28th. During the 2017 racing season, Sage Karam would race in IMSA for 3GT Racing Lexus team in the GTD class. In 2018, Sage Karam started in 24th and crashed out of the race at the 2018 Indy 500 again after 154 laps, finishing in 26th. Later in 2018, Sage Karam would return to Pocono for the 2018 ABC 500, but as a spectator. Originally, Sage Karam had a chance to race at Pocono in IndyCar, but sponsorships fell through and funding came up short. Unfortunately, a terrible crash would take place. On lap 7, Sage Karam's friend Robert Wiggins would suffer a horrifying crash in turn 2 alongside with Ryan Hunter-Reay, paralyzing the Canadian rookie. The grief returned for Karam. That crash would once again spark debate on IndyCar racing at the tricky triangle to race fans. As of the making of this video, Robert Wiggins, despite being paralyzed, won multiple IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge races and even a championship, and also became a father. As for Sage's racing career, he kept moving forward. In 2019, Sage Karam would qualify his way into the Indy 500, starting at 31st. Thankfully, after 4 Indy 500s he competed in, Sage Karam would finally finish the Indy 500 race, 19th place. After the 500, Sage Karam would race in the American Rallycross, making his debut at Mid-Ohio in June, finishing runner-up for the Saturday and Sunday finals. Sage Karam would finally race a few more non-Indy 500 races. For the next 2 IndyCar races, Sage Karam would return for Carlin Racing at Toronto and Iowa. Iowa was his first trip back since finishing in the podium in 3rd place back in 2015. Sage Karam would start in 21st, which would be his finishing result at Toronto. At Iowa, Sage Karam would spin on lap 16 and turn 4 in front of Felix Rosenqvist. Things did not get better that night for Sage. On lap 186, Takuma Sato checked up entering the trial oval, and Sage Karam would get into the back of Takuma Sato, ending Sage's night in 22nd, last place. And just like that, Sage Karam's stint in Carlin Racing was done. Sage would continue to race in American Rallycross at COTA in Mid-Ohio once again. For the remainder of his IndyCar career, from 2020 to 2022, with Dry or Reinbold, Sage Karam will do 4 races, all of them at Indianapolis. In 2020, Sage Karam would finish in 23rd at the GMR Grand Prix, 24th at the Indy 500, 23rd at the First Harvest Grand Prix, and 24th at the Second Harvest Grand Prix. For the final 2 races of his IndyCar career, Sage Karam would finish in 7th at the 2021 Indianapolis 500 and would crash out at the final lap of the 2022 Indianapolis 500, finishing in 23rd. As of the making of this video, Sage Karam has not made a return to an IndyCar race or an Indy 500 race. However, there will be a big change in Sage Karam's racing career that would expand his racing resume. While Sage Karam has been racing at Indy, Sage Karam would get a taste of NASCAR racing. Sage Karam would make his NASCAR debut at the 2021 Xfinity race at the Indianapolis Road Course. Sage would start on the 18th position but would finish in the 26th position due to electrical issues. He finished 16th at Bristol, 25th at the Charlotte Roval after having a career best run. Sage Karam would make his Truck Series debut at Martinsville and would finish in 31st after being in a crash alongside with Jack Wood and Dawson Cram with 52 laps to go. Luckily for Sage Karam, this was the only truck race he has done in his career for that horrendous series. Sage Karam would finish in 25th at the Xfinity season finale race at Phoenix after getting into an incident with Joe Graf Jr. on lap 100, which ended Joe Graf Jr.'s race and Matt Mills on lap 108. 2021 was another completely new racing experience for Sage, and 2022 it would continue to be that way. Sage Karam will do some more races in NASCAR. Sage would do 7 races for Alpha Prime Racing. One of those races was Pocono. Before we get to Pocono, let's get to how we got there. At the first Atlanta race, 32nd because, current Atlanta with plates, the big one took place on lap 154. 16th at COTA after being spun by Parker Chase. Sage Karam was involved in on-track feud with Noah Gragson at one of the longest straightaways at Road America. Noah Gragson would wreck Sage Karam and cause a big one involving a lot of cars, finishing at 31st after starting in 12th, and yet Noah Gragson got away with it with just a hefty little fine. That is just ridiculously stupid for NASCAR that they give him a light punishment after his huge tantrum, causing a huge wreck. But that's not what we're talking about. Now, let's get to the part of the story. Back in early May of 2022, it was announced that Sage Karam would return to Pocono Raceway for the first time since the tragic accident of Justin Wilson back in 2015 for race 19 of the 2022 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. It was at the point he could talk and would be open about the accident. Jody Karam, Sage's father, said that Pocono is an imperative part of the healing process. He would go on and say that he was ready. On Thursday, 2 doors before the race, Sage Karam rode around the track with his bicycle, visiting the first corner. July 23rd, 2022. It was race day at the Tricky Triangle. No matter what place Sage Karam finishes, all he wanted to do is focus on competing all 90 laps in 225 miles. It's a race for closure, face some demons, heal, and move forward.
Starts in the 27 spot here. Sage, just your weekend, the emotion tied with returning to Pocono, the excitement of the Xfinity Series. How are you? Where are you at as you get ready to go here today?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's been quite the journey to get back here. It's been 7 years since I was here in 2015 when that accident happened. I've come here again in 2018 and had another accident, or saw my buddy Robbie have his accident, so it's just been kind of a love-hate relationship with this place, just because I do love it because it's my hometown, but at the same time, I haven't really had many positive experiences. So today, I think really the main goal for me is just to finish the race as best as I can and just kind of have fun doing it, smile, I want to get out of the car with a smile on my face, and I think that would be the biggest win, whether it's first place, 10th place, 20th, or 30th. I really don't care as long as I can smile and leave here with a solid, positive, memory.
You have so much good with CRC on the car. We had the CRC brake clean race earlier. Just kind of describe how the car was and how you're ready to go as far as the performance of the car here today.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to have CRC on board, the PA company, and me being from Pennsylvania my entire life, it's pretty cool. I used CRC products when I was coming up through the ranks in go-karting, and it's pretty cool to have it come full circle now and have them, supporting me on a car here for my return back to Pocono. So, really excited. Team Alpha Prime has been great all year and has been steadily progressing with me, and, of course, to be involved with Chevrolet. I've been a Chevy driver my entire life, even in IndyCar. I did 98500. It's all with Chevy, and every Xfinity race I've done so far has been in a Chevy, so I'm really happy with where I'm at.
Sage Karam, happy where he's at and hopes to come away with a smile here today at Pocono.
And he will start in position number 27, 27-year-old driver.
Sage Karam was determined. Sage Karam would qualify in 27 with the speed of 162.805 miles per hour at the time of 55.281.
There you see 45 of Sage Karam in the pre-race show. We heard how today, when he goes through turn 1, he wants to complete the healing process. He's been so burdened by the things that have happened to him at this racetrack. He'd like to put that behind him, and he's been carrying those very heavy burdens for quite some time. But Sage Karam, what a story. When he takes the green flag and goes through turn 1 at speed, he says that's definitely going to be helping me complete the healing process.
The race was underway, and Sage Karam finally got around the first corner at Pocono under green in race condition for the first time since 2015. Now, he has a race to run. On lap 3, Alex Abay and Roger Caruth would crash at the front straightaway. Karam would avoid the accident and restart in the top 30. During the first 20 laps of the race, Sage Karam's lowest position was in 32nd. Long way to go. After 40 laps were completed, Sage Karam was in 25th, a much better second run than the first part of the race. Then, on lap 47, the big one took place.
This is where staying out is going to really hurt the 21. He needs to get about 9 more laps to be inside his fuel window. And now he's lost that clean air. Oh, a big wreck. Huge contact.
48 is involved. That's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now up and over goes the 27. So Jeff Burton sliding on top.
Somebody's going to hit you. All right, just hold tight right here. This will take a minute here. You all good there?
Yeah, man. Did all I could there.
It's Jeb Burton's radio.
2 laps after the restart, Santino Ferrucci and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. would all get together at the exit of turn 3 and spin and crash. Jeb Burton would go low to avoid the crash, but Stenhouse would get into Burton, which caused Jeb Burton to go upside down. Jeremy Clements and Ronnie Bassett Jr. would also be involved. Luckily for Sage Karam, he would avoid the accident and restart inside the top 20. The highest he has been in the race was 16th place. Sammy Smith would crash in turn 1 with 38 laps to go, and Sage Karam would be in 18th when the caution came out. At the restart and due to pit stops, Sage Karam would restart in 24th, and he was climbing up to the top 20. 21 laps to go, Sage Karam was in 20th.
Marty, a little further back in the field, running 20th right now, is Sage Karam.
Yeah, Rick, Sage Karam is racing at Pocono for the first time in 7 years. The last time Karam was on this racetrack, he was part of the IndyCar wreck that took the life of Justin Wilson. In the aftermath, Karam admitted to having some very dark days, as you can imagine. When he got to the track this weekend, he rode his bike over to turn 1 where the accident happened, as he said to, quote, make peace with this racetrack. For the race today, he said, I just want to go through turn 1 at speed one more time to prove to myself that I can do it. Rick, I can't imagine the courage Sage Karam needed just to show up and race today, but he did it.
Yeah, Marty, the emotions too. Just wanted to continue that healing process and the weight that he carried for so long. As you mentioned, 7 years since he's raced at this racetrack. Currently running in the 20th position right now for Sage Karam.
Sage Karam would hold on to the final plus 20 laps to finish in the top 20, while Noah Gragson was fighting hard for the race win against Ty Gibbs and won the tricky triangle. Sage Karam finished in the top 20. For a regular NASCAR driver, it would be an ordinary 20th place finish. But for Sage Karam, it was a win for not only finishing at the home track, but he was finally at peace with Pocono, making his family, friends, sponsors, and teams happy on his tough journey and found closure. Sage Karam also says that the race was one of the most fun times he's had in a race car, thanks to how amazing the Xfinity cars are at Pocono. He also went on to say that running an Xfinity car at Pocono was more fun than running an IndyCar at Pocono. The race was a tremendous relief, and peace was finally made. Sage Karam is looking forward to race at his home track in NASCAR with many years to come. After Pocono, Sage Karam's NASCAR journey continued. His most notable moments in NASCAR was almost winning the Daytona 250 in 2022, finishing in 5th place, wall riding and qualifying at the first 2023 Darlington race on Throwback Weekend, throwing it back to Richard Childress and his CRC car. It was battling for the win at Road America, but would unfortunately go off track, but would hang on to finish in 4th place for Sam Hunt Racing, his best NASCAR Xfinity Series finish of his career as of the making of this video. So, that's going to do it for another episode of Racing Stories. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. This is Ian the Motorsports Man, signing off. Goodbye, everybody.